What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Bevy.
And I'm Becky, and today's case is about a young woman named Lea Porter. But first, we shall get into our sister chat.
Yes, let's.
All right, Bevy, I have a question for you.
All right, lay it on
If
me.
you're going out for a walk, do you just casually stroll down the street? Or are you out there on like a mission for exercise?
I think like somewhere in between.
Like casual exercise.
Yeah, like I'm not the fastest person around, and sometimes I do find myself in my own head, like not really focusing on how fast I'm going, but like just thinking about shit.
Yeah, just
And
pacing.
yeah, and then if I realize that I'm kind of wandering, my mind is anyways, then I start picking up the pace. I start going, let's get my heart rate up.
Let's go.
Why do you ask?
Yes, why do I ask?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you why, Bevy. So, I, as you know, have a dog.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously. And I go on long walks every day.
Yes.
Like, when it's nice out, typically like 5K minimum. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been hot and humid here. Normally, it's dry as hell. So, when I take Rocky to the dog park, I choose like a nice paved path so I can hoof it. Like I'm walking with intention. I want to get my heart rate up. I want to be sweating.
Are you going to tell me about your sweaty ass?
Yes. When she says sweaty ass, she doesn't like literally mean sweaty ass, but I mean, just me.
That's not out of the question.
I sweat. I mean,
your ass could be sweaty. Also.
Anywhere could be sweaty, yes.
But you're right. I did mean it the way you said it.
Yes. I like to get a good workout and get my heart rate. Like I don't stop and chat too much. A little bit, I don't want to be rude, but I'm there on a mission for me and my dog. So the point I'm making is I was leaving the dog park today and I'm dripping sweat because it's hot and humid. And I just walked almost 7K. Yes. And I walked 7K, right?
Yeah. And
I did it in under an hour. So I'm like, that's pretty good time. And I'm dripping sweat. And as I'm leaving, this lady looked at me.
Oh, no.
Like I was absolutely disgusting. Now, it's not just like this one lady. Like most people don't like, you can't tell what they're thinking. But I swear to God, I am the only person that sweats at the dog park. Like the only one.
Did she look at you like with disgust or something?
Yeah, Bev. Like, ew, why is this girl sweating?
Who sweats at the dog park?
Yeah. Who does exercise in a park? Ugh. Anyways,
I just shit in it. All these
it's
dog
a pretty nice
shits,
park,
and she's taking deep breaths, huffing it.
Ugh. Okay. But, I just am sitting here wondering because, like, every time I go, I am sweating. Like, I'm working out.
We do come from a very sweaty family.
Yeah, like...
I'm a sweater, too.
Yeah, like, we sweat. Like, that's
so is
a thing.
Axel, our brother.
Same with Dad, Mom. Everyone's sweaty.
Yeah, we're just sweaty.
But, like, surely we can't be the only sweaty people out there. Like, do you know how many people I come across in a week at the dog parks?
Lots.
Lots. I don't know how many, obviously, but lots. And I swear to God, I am the only one. And every time I go, I'm like, oh, great. I can't wait for this goddamn walk because I'm just going to be so fucking sweaty.
I think what's so funny about this little information you're giving me here is that a couple of days ago, you were at my house telling me about how sweaty you are, and you were saying how it is completely embarrassing that I'm so sweaty. And now you've been judged for it. Like your worst fear came true.
Yeah. Like I'm thinking, should I go to the doctor? Am I like...
There is something where people are like super sweaty, and it's like a condition.
I know. But, I've worked out with you. And I wouldn't argue that I'm any more sweatier than you.
Yeah,
or Axel.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Right? I don't know. One of my best friends is like
lady.
And maybe she was just like, is she okay? But I felt a little more judged than I should. And maybe it was just like my internal
fear.
Yeah,
you were like self-conscious of it. So as soon as she looked at you, Like maybe
like
she
that.
just sniffed some shit and she's like, ugh. And then she like looked in your general direction and you were like, wow.
Yeah.
Rude.
I know. I wasn't even like, breathing heavy. I didn't look like I was coming out of the like force, like
No.
missing after days in the
But
heat.
you definitely looked like a cherry tomato. Let's be real.
Oh, you know what? I got in the car. My face wasn't even that red. Like I didn't look like I was dying. Like I've looked way worse working out. Anyways, my point is that like, are we the only people that sweat?
No, surely not. Although I really don't know anyone else who sweats as much as me. Like, I was telling you, I do avoid social situations where like hiking is involved or something. Like, I remember going hiking with one of my good friends and her like they were a new couple at that point, and we went to an easy hike for her birthday, and they're just like walking and talking all about whatever the hell the whole time up this mountain. And me and Craig are like probably a good like kilometer behind her or whatever, just like I'm like sweating. I have to stop and take breaks. Like it was bad. And I was just like, I thought that this type of struggle was real. Like I thought this is what everyone experienced. But no, they're chatting like nonstop up this mountain. Crazy.
Yeah. It's not right. Anyways, I do think we're sweaty than the average, but like I shouldn't be concerned because my whole family's this way.
Yeah, just go for hikes with us or go for walks with us and you'll be in good company, sister. That's
right. We'll all just bring sweat towels and act like it's normal.
That's right.
Yeah.
You gotta adjust, you gotta adapt to your situation. Gotta be prepared.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I actually do know someone sweatier than us, like at least in weird spots. Like, yeah,
weird spots.
My childhood best friend, she, her hands would be soaked.
Oh, and the sweaty palms.
The sweaty palms, man, like can't even like shake her hand. It's that bad. And
yeah, it's like, oh, actually, I lost grip. It was so slick.
Yeah, no, she won't even shake your hand. She'd be like, you don't want to. It's bad. And so she's got the sweaty hands, maybe not the body sweat, but definitely the hands. And Craig, actually, his feet glisten.
Really?
They glisten. Like sometimes he'll be laying on the couch with his socks off, and I just see like beads of like little tiny, like they almost look like his feet. It's rained outside. He was laying out in the outside, like out where outside. He was just outside all night and catching drops. And he woke up with like dew on his feet, just like the grass. Yeah.
It's like the morning dew.
I don't know why I like want you to like somehow create a nickname for Craig and then like come over one day and just call him like, what's up, morning dew?
I just thought of one. I would like open the door. What's up, dewdrop?
Yes, that's a good one, Becky.
He'll be like,
that's a good one.
Pardon me?
I love it. Oh my god, that one's good. So,
oh god.
Anyways,
if you're listening to this and you sweat, let us know. Because we're feeling pretty lonely in the world, minus Craig's feet.
Yeah, did you hear me? I was like, just hang out with your family, Becky. No one else.
Oh, good.
We don't want her to be lonely. Or only have
I'll always
me.
have my family.
Yeah.
My sweaty folks.
All right, Dewdrop. Let's get into the case.
Yes. Let's do it, Bev. All right. So, as I said earlier, today's case is about a young woman named Lea Porter. She was born in Cotopaxi, Colorado on December 28th, 1994. Her mother's name was Renee Jackson, and Lea also had an older brother named Maxx.
Oh, she was just a baby.
Just a baby. Now, growing up, Maxx and Lea were really close. Maxx always kept an eye out for his little baby sister. She was a great person, but also a little rebellious. She kind of like, as I was listening to it,
Shut
like,
the fuck up. We both know what you're going to say.
she reminded me of you.
Anyways, so I figured
In like a good way.
No, as soon as I saw rebellious, I mean, great person. Great person was in there. I'll give you that. But yeah, I knew what you were going to say, you little turd.
But I really did think that just, you know, she was quite lovely and very loyal to her family and friends. I mean, I would consider you that.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah. Now, Maxx and Lea both attended Cotopaxi High School. And being a couple years older than Lea, Maxx graduated and ended up moving to Trinidad, Colorado, which was about 2 hours south of Cotopaxi. While there, Maxx attended community college to become a massage therapist.
Oh, you know who he reminds me of?
Moi? I know, I was like, that is kind of weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. Although Maxx and Lea remained in contact with one another while Maxx was away, Lea found it really hard to be so far apart. When Maxx graduated, he ended up moving to California to begin his career. So that must have been even harder because it's even further. Now, after high school, Lea ended up moving to Trinidad, Colorado, and enrolled in the exact same massage therapy program as her older brother. This almost reminds me of me and you, except you, Missy, did not follow in my footsteps.
The hell I did not.
That's right.
I didn't.
No, you did not. Couldn't be further than different at that point in our lives.
Becky's basically talking about the fact that I moved to Edmonton when I was 16. So I moved 4 hours away. Right?
Yeah. She did move 4 hours away, 3 hours away.
Just for anyone who doesn't know us that deeply, there's that reference for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there going to be any more parallels, Rebecca?
No.
That's where it ends?
Yeah.
All
and
right.
you'll be grateful for that, as you'll find out.
All right. Onward.
Now, what?
I said onward.
Onward. Now, the siblings dreamed of living in California together, working on their own massage clinic after Lea had graduated. But she had a very different experience in college than her brother. Now, being away from her family, she became a little depressed, and she often made posts on Facebook about it. On top of being depressed, Lea had met a 38-year-old tattoo artist named Jesse Mine, and the pair began dating. And eventually Lea moved in with him. Unfortunately, Jesse had his own issues, and he was a heroin addict.
Hot diggity.
Yeah, and it really wasn't long before he introduced Lea to heroin herself.
No.
In fact, one of Lea's friends remembered Lea grimly confiding, "I did heroin for the first time, and I'm hooked on it."
That's just how it happens. That's why it's such a scary, fucked up drug.
Yeah.
Sad.
Now, because of... It is sad. And what's even more sad is her addiction led to her dropping out of college. And then on top of it, she was stuck with a mountain of student debt. And eventually was stuck in the cycle of addiction.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Like, you paid to get an addiction, basically.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, because you didn't get a degree out of it.
Nope.
You just have debt and an addiction.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, she was pretty young. Like, she's only 19 at the time, right?
Oh, that makes me sad, Becky.
But in 2014, her boyfriend Jesse was actually leaving town to go to rehab. So, unfortunately, this meant that Lea would have no place to stay. And because she too had the desire to get clean, on June 3rd, 2014, she packed her things and drove to Westminster, Colorado, which is 3 hours north of Trinidad and just between Denver and Boulder, Colorado.
Was she going there to go to rehab?
Oh, not quite. But she had the desire to get out of town and start like a new life and hope that she would get clean from that point on.
Right. I mean, changing your environment does help, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I find, like, certain places can be triggers, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For certain things. Like, if you
Yeah.
do it there, do heroin somewhere all the time and you go there, like, if you're trying to fight it, it would be hard. It's kind of like with vaping and me. It's like, if I see someone with a vape, like, I could go months without a vape. And if I see someone with a vape, it's like, oh my God, like, just seeing it, you're like, ah.
You're like, I want that fucking vape.
Yeah. So if you do heroin in this one house, it's like, you drive past that house, you're like, I want heroin. Who knows? Maybe. I'm just kind of speculating. I've never done heroin. I don't know. But I feel like that's kind of how minor addictions work. So I assume it might be the same for stronger ones. So, I mean, moving to a different place. Yeah, I can see her logic there.
For sure. Like less contacts. You don't know really anyone, right?
That too.
It also will stop you from having that outreach to get the drug. So, well, before arriving in Westminster, Lea had made a post on Facebook about needing a place to stay, and an old acquaintance from high school answered her plea. His name was Chris Wade. Now, Chris wasn't friends with Lea or her brother in high school, but they knew of each other. And after high school, they didn't have any communication until Chris had reached out to Lea when she was living in Trinidad and had made posts about her mental health. He was always a listening ear when it came to her mental health, addiction, and sobriety. So when she posted that she needed a place to stay, he offered for her to come and stay with him in Westminster. Now the question is, who was Chris Wade? As I said, he was a former classmate who after high school had served in the Army and was now a college student studying criminal justice. And on the evening of June 3rd, 2014, Lea Porter arrived in Westminster, and that was the last anyone had heard from her. The following day, when Maxx couldn't get a hold of his sister, he became really worried, and so he mustered up the courage to call his mom, Renee, to let her know he couldn't get a hold of Lea. And it was at that time Maxx kind of brought light to Lea's situation. Her mother was kind of kept in the dark, so she didn't know the extent of her problems in Trinidad. Renee was really shocked, but fortunately, she had been paying her daughter's cell phone, so she had access to all the records. And she combed through her daughter's cell phone calls and texts, and there were 2 numbers called the day before she went missing. One was to Jessie, and the other was unknown. Alarmed, Lea's mother called both. Jessie told her, him and Lea had spent the previous night together before he left for rehab, but he had left town, so he had no idea where she went after that. The second number she called ended up being Chris Wade. Wade claimed that Lea had arrived at his place. They went to get some food, and after a few hours together, Lea got a text and left abruptly without explanation, and he hadn't seen her since. Chris also told Renee that he was acting as Lea's accountability partner, helping her through her addiction issues. So after Renee got off the call, she immediately called the police to report her daughter missing. Now, just like Renee, the police had initially looked into Lea's ex-boyfriend, Jesse, but they were able to rule him out rather quickly, as it was true that he had a solid alibi being in rehab in Maryland. Now, at that point, Wade was under scrutiny. It would appear that he was the last person to see her. Police had found surveillance footage of them grabbing food, just like he had told Renee. But after that video, there was no trace of Lea anywhere. Throughout the initial stages of the investigation, Chris appeared fairly helpful. He even joined the public efforts to search for Lea and posted pleas on social media, hoping someone would find her. Westminster Police Detective Matt Calhoun commented on Wade's behavior. He put it out there that he really wanted to help find Lea. He's really concerned about her, and he wanted to do anything to help us. So he does seem like a really concerned friend, wouldn't you think, Bev?
Yeah, of course.
Chris also spoke to the news channels, and he said when Lea arrived, she said that she was tired and just wanted to crash. But he ended up finding some of her drugs and confronted her, and then shortly after she took off. He also said, I don't have very many friends, but the ones I do have, I'm very loyal to. So even losing one is a heavy blow. He said he was sorry that she thought he was angry at her for doing drugs, but he wants her to be safe and wants her to know he wants the best for her. Now, if you were Lee's friends and family, what would you think about that little news interview?
Well, the first thing that popped right into my head is that it's just a different story than he told Renee and investigators, right? Like,
yeah,
he had only told Renee that he was Lee's accountability partner or whatever, but did not tell her that he found drugs on her at all. You know? So I don't know. I just feel like whenever someone's story changes, it does raise suspicions.
Yeah, agreed. And so, like, it's a pretty drastic difference than what he said. It's not just like a small, minute detail.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think the other thing that I could mention, and it's not necessarily like my first thought, it's more like, you know, when you're like grasping at straws kind of because you're really analyzing something. That's kind of where I'm at with this one. But when he says, the friends I do have, I'm very loyal to. So even losing one is a heavy blow. It's just kind of weird because he hasn't lost her. Like, she's just missing at this point. Like, she could have, like, ran off to go get drugs, you know, because he said he found some on her and she took off shortly after. So I just feel like she could just be on a bender, like, for all he knows, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so just his verbiage there is a little weird. And if I were to be overly analytical, I might think, oh, he knows something deeper than what he's letting on by saying losing a friend, as if she's gone forever kind of thing. But,
for sure.
You know, that is kind of really looking into it on a deep level, and I really could just be reading into things there.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I didn't even go that route when I read that quote or saw the video, actually, because it's kind of weird. But what I thought initially was that you guys barely even knew each other in high school, and you really only commented on her posts about her mental health. You know, like, I didn't think they were that good of friends. You know, so when he's like, I don't have many friends, but it would almost seem that their relationship wasn't of like a friendship. It was like Facebook acquaintances that went to the same high school at some point.
Yeah, like, I can see what you're saying there.
That was where my mind went first.
Like, he's really into this, like, friendship type thing. Like, he's maybe making it seem like it is more than it is. That being said, they did confide in each other, like, in the fact that she was depressed and stuff. And I don't know, when you speak to someone about your mental health, it can be pretty bonding. So maybe that's
it's hard
the
to
reason
say
for
the
it,
level of their friendship, for sure.
But I can see it's like so easy to like overanalyze these things, right? And just be like, especially when you have a missing person.
Especially. Now, obviously, as we can imagine, Lee's family was so desperate for answers. Her brother Maxx flew in from California and they looked for themselves. They hung up hundreds of posters and they even went as far as hiring a private investigator.
Okay. I'm sorry. And now this is like probably the weirdest time to bring this up. But when you said they looked for themselves, I thought how funny that sounds because they looked for their sister and daughter for themselves.
Yes.
But not like looked for themselves. You know what I mean? And I thought, what a funny way to say that. And then I thought about what you said to my son earlier today.
No.
Yeah.
You stop. You stop right now. That was unfortunate.
It was, but it's funny and it's worth saying.
Ugh.
Can
God. I guess.
Okay, so my son has this like playmat, and Becky has this look of like, you fucking bitch. on her face right now. But there's this like little toys hanging, dangling from this like arch so he can bat at them and play with them. And there's this one, and if you shake it, it's like a ball and it rattles. And Becky was like, "Hi, Coley. Hi, cutie." And she was over like the phone. And every time she spoke to him, he like grabbed this ball and like bashfully smiled at her. And she was like,
it was cute.
It was cute. And Becky's like, "Oh, you're just so cute. Like, Auntie just can't wait to come over there and play with your balls."
I said, "You and your balls." And
Auntie can't wait to come over there and play with you and your balls. And like everyone just went silent. Like Becky's fiance was in the room with her. I'm there, Becky's there, and we all kind of went that whole like
like even like, I was like, "Why did Becky I say
like,
that?
Oh, that sounded so bad."
Oh my god.
I was like,
it was so embarrassing. I was like, "Oh, I feel so gross right now." But I was like genuinely talking about like the cute little like toy ball that he was like so intrigued with.
Of course you were.
Gross.
But it was funny.
The like silence after from all of us was just like, "Oh, why?" Like
gross.
Like, have you ever said something and it's like immediate? You're like, "Why did I say that?" Like,
all the time.
Why did that like happen right now?
All the fucking time.
Yeah, it was like that moment for me. Ugh, it was a good laugh, but like, god damn it.
God damn.
God damn it. Anyways, the private investigators had been able to determine 4 locations Lee's phone had pinged at. They all happened to be bodies of water. And the plan was to take cadaver dogs to those locations. Now, Bev, I brought this up because I found that very interesting. Like, was Lea at those bodies of water?
Yeah, was her body dumped there if she had been murdered?
Exactly. But in regards to the private investigator, I found no other details after that. Other than that was a plan, so I don't know if I know that the cadaver dogs didn't find anything because, spoiler, Lee's body was never found. And so I don't know what came of that. So if anyone's sitting there being like, "Well, this is kind of an open-ended statement," yeah, it is, because I don't know what else happened. Okay? But they were so desperate that they did hire private investigators to work, I'm assuming, alongside with the police. So, sounds like a promising lead, but I got nothing else to tell you.
Yeah, and obviously it kind of like fell flat. Unless there's more information that connects to this somehow, but it kind of sucks.
I know. So, as you can imagine at this point, Chris is on the police's radar. This is on everyone's radar.
Because he's a liar.
Yeah, and people just got like weird vibes from him.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was the last person to see her. She moved to a new city. He promised that she could stay there. And then all of a sudden his stories aren't aligning. And he's like not really a close friend, but like kind of a close friend. And he's the last person to see her. Like, yeah, he'd be on my radar too.
Yeah, for sure. So the police intensified their investigation. And 1 week after the disappearance, they searched Chris's apartment. And just like for starters, his apartment was just a freaking mess. Like, I don't think this guy liked organizing or cleaning or anything, because it was just a mess.
It was a schlob.
But what they did find was a giant knife beside his bed.
Classy.
And, yeah, real classy, right? And a receipt from the 4th of June for bleach and rubber gloves.
Holy fuck. Holy shit. I mean, the giant knife beside the bed, that doesn't raise alarm flags to me because I literally did that. I had a butcher's knife beside my bed.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I mean.
But you know what, Bev? For almost every other person besides you, it probably is like a little concerning.
Okay, maybe. But that alone, I'm just saying, is not like suspicious enough because people use do that. People do that. Protection or whatnot. I mean,
Yes.
Craig carries a bat by his bed. You know, like people feel the need to protect themselves. So that in its isolation is not that bad. But those bleach and rubber glove receipt, what? What? Mixed with the knife specifically. Sketchy as hell.
So sketchy. And I feel it's always the receipts.
It's always the effing receipts. People like don't even think of them as important at all, but they end up just doing people in.
Like, also, I just, if I go to the grocery store and I just buy gloves and bleach, which I don't do, by the way, I would probably like not even keep the receipt. I would throw it out almost immediately. Or when they're like, do you want a receipt? And you'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because it was like max like $11.
Yeah, like you're not going to return that, right?
No. Like, why would you keep that receipt? I don't know. I'm just saying why. It just is silly to me.
Laziness.
Yeah, pure lazy.
Schlubbiness.
Just to go in with the,
which we know Chris is.
Add to the mess. Here's my receipt. Add to the pile.
So I'm guessing he's like dragged down to the police station at that point.
Well, he was like formally interrogated at the police station.
They're like,
right?
What the fuck?
Well, while he was there, Bev, he said Lee started to get sexy with him. But during that time, she got a nosebleed.
Give me a goddamn break.
To throw the sheets out because they had blood on them.
Oh my God. Who the freak throws out sheets when they get blood on them? If that was a thing, like every woman in the freaking world would just like go through so many sheets.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, just the other day I had a mosquito bite and I got a little wily shaving my legs. And I literally sliced the top of the mosquito bite off.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah. And so I get out like from the shower and I was like, God damn, like shaved off my mosquito bite. That hurt like a mother effer. And I was like, I had a way too hot shower. So I was just sitting on my bed after like cooling down and I got blood on the sheets. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to throw them out.
Yeah. Like who
like
wants
never mind any other random thing.
That's true. Sometimes Craig's nose literally bleeds on his pillows. And it's just like you stain treat them and wash them.
You don't just throw them out. That's completely
crazy.
Nonsensical.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. Jesus, hey?
Oh, this is painting a scary picture, though.
Right? And he's trying to, like, cater his story, so it doesn't sound like a murder, that it can all be explained away.
God.
Unfortunately, at that time, though, the police hear this and they're like, wow, this guy's probably guilty. Like, he probably did something real terrible to her.
Mm-hmm.
But they ultimately had nothing but their suspicion, right? And, like, a couple things that seem sketchy, but no evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they let him leave the station. But because they sense something is awry, he is put under surveillance.
Good.
Now, obviously, the investigators speak to everyone that they think that they need to. And when the investigators spoke to Maxx about Chris and what he knew of him, he said he was a weirdo in high school. It was known that he kept journals of his fantasies about capturing women and keeping them as sex slaves.
I'm sorry, what?
In high school.
What? Like, did Lee know about this?
Oh, I have no idea.
And, like, her brother knew about this. Did he not warn Lee? Like, what the dick, Becky?
I know. But you know how, like, kids are cruel sometimes in high school?
Becky, he kept an effing journal about capturing women and keeping them as sex slaves. Like, that is
True.
so... That is, like... That's, like... dirt. I don't know. That's just, like...
Sketchy.
It just... goes beyond. I don't know if you're doing that, like,
you know what,
you're kind of asking for people to talk about it because it's so abnormal, so out of the range of like what normal teenage behavior is, that it's kind of like, ooh,
it's on
people
your radar,
are going
right?
to talk. Yeah.
In junior high, one kid gave himself a swirly And everyone found out about it. Everyone knew. So imagine having a journal.
Like that.
Everyone's going to know.
So I'm just like, why would she agree to move in with him and all this stuff? Like, he just seems like a total sketch case.
I do wonder, because Maxx was in a different grade than Lea. And since her mom had to go figure out who she was meeting in Westminster, I can only assume her brother didn't even know that's who she was going to stay with,
Ugh,
you know?
Terrible.
Because surely he would have been like, yo, sister, don't go there.
Yeah, no doubt.
You may become a sex slave.
Oh my God.
You know?
Ugh, so sad, Becky. Okay.
Well, do you think that's terrible? Listen to this. The investigators finally learned the reason why Chris was discharged from the army. And it was because he told the army psychologist that he had attempted 2 different times to kidnap, molest, and murder 2 different girls while in high school. Now, apparently the only reason why he did not, I guess, accomplish his goal is because when he broke into their homes, he got scared off when he heard someone like up and about. He just like, scared, went home.
That is outrageous, Becky.
I know.
Ugh, well, Lea is done for, man. Like, that's all I can say. He's finally getting his chance. Like, he doesn't have to go to her house. She's coming right to him.
Right? Nice and easy for him.
Oh.
So, obviously, the more they're learning about this dude, the more they're also fearful for Lea, and, like, surely he did do something.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Yeah, so after they learned that, they searched his apartment again, and they actually found several perverted violent child photos.
Oh, Lord.
And on top of it, they found a bunch of tarot cards, and, like, this is just more of a side note, he was, like, obsessed with tarot cards.
Which, I mean, I think a lot of people have different opinions about that, for sure. Like, some people swear by them. I know there's the other ideology surrounding tarot cards is that they're demonic, specifically from religious communities, things like that. So maybe that's why it's even mentioned, or that's why they found it of interest at all, is just speaking to like where his mental state was at, like if you're looking at it from that perspective. So who knows? But
yeah,
that, like, let's go back to the violent child photos, okay? Because like, what? It totally makes sense. It's totally on brand with him so far, but like, hot diggity.
Mm-hmm.
That would be jarring to see and find.
Yeah. Especially like they're not even looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So obviously as time goes by, Lee's family and police grew increasingly uneasy. And a little over a week and a half after Lea went missing, Maxx and Jesse decided to confront Chris. Now, I'm not 100% sure where they chose, like what setting. It sounded like they were in like almost like maybe a coffee shop or a fast food restaurant. Now, I'm speculating, but just from what I gathered from hearing the videos and stuff like that, it's what I took. So don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right. Now, Maxx recorded this confrontation, and it was so shocking.
Ugh.
Chris confessed after a lot of pressure from Maxx and Jesse that he killed Lea. Chris said Lea texted him to come over because she was really depressed.
Come over where?
To his house.
Oh, she wanted to go to his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess talk it out. And they ended up having sexual relations. And then she asked him for drug money. He said no. And then all of a sudden, she came at him with a knife.
Bullshit.
The knife.
Bullshit.
Yeah. He said when she attacked him, he turned, kind of spun around, grabbed her, and placed his hand on her neck. And he said that this could end now if she would just drop the knife. But she told him she wouldn't, or that she would stop when he was dead or if he bought her drugs. And at that point, he realized, oh, she's not stopping. So he started squeezing her throat. And in the struggle, the knife cut her and she fell to the ground and was dead. And instead of calling 911, he then disposed of Lea in a dumpster.
Ugh. Okay, like that is horrific, right?
So horrific.
It's got to be a half truth or like not true at all. Like,
yeah.
I just find it so disgusting when people like murderers, pedophiles, I don't know, just like disgraceful people, blame their victims in their explanation of what occurred. Like, they just can't be at fault, so they have to make it that like the victim attacked them, which is just horseshit. Because like I don't believe it. I don't buy it for 1 second.
For sure. And what is interesting, Lea, tiny woman. She, at that point, on drugs or was trying to sober up, and she was less than 100 pounds.
Like, literally, he could have grabbed her wrist and just like, I don't know, just like, shook her hand and she probably would have dropped it.
Flick the knife out of her hand.
Yeah, like, seriously. Like,
well, exactly,
it's just
right?
so dumb. Such a dumb story.
Yeah, so it's like, how did this actually end up with her dying? Like, truly. Like, there is a disconnect in the story.
Yeah. The only thing that I could even see, Becky, was like, I was like, this is on brand, is where she was really depressed and asked to come over. Like, I'm like, maybe. Yeah. Maybe sure. That's how it, like, maybe that was real. But everything else, it's like, nah.
Yeah. I agree, Bev. So one thing I want to point out is, let's go back to the fact that Chris is confessing this to Lea's brother, Maxx. Could you imagine sitting across from someone, let's say I got murdered, you were sitting across trying to get them to confess. How are you going to act? Right? This guy, Maxx, he kept his cool at first. He literally was like, I'm not going to hold anything against you. I just need to know the truth. Like, he coerced this confession out of Chris. He was so calm. However, after this confession, Chris said he would turn himself into the police. And I think when he said that, he thought that Maxx was going to like just let him go and confess. But Maxx said, no, you're going to jail right now. He forced Chris to call 911 and admit to Lea's murder. In the recording, Chris was heard telling the 911 operator calmly, I'd like to confess to a murder. He even described putting her body in a duffel bag and dumping it in the dumpster near his apartment. Now, after all that, on Max's recording, you could hear Maxx jump over the table and he started beating the shit out of Chris. Because, no kidding.
Yeah, of course.
He just confessed to murdering his sister.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't mention this before, but he put his sister in the trash. Like, I'm sorry, but he kept his composure long enough to get what he needed from that interaction. And then I don't blame him for just like going for it. I really don't. That would be, that'd be so hard to hear. Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the shoe fetish Slayer episode. Remember at the end when he's like, he crumples that paper up and like throws it on the ground, just like the victims were like nothing.
Yes, I remember
that.
Yeah.
This is like a slightly different scenario, but that's what it reminds me of, like that same vibe.
I get exactly what you're talking about. I know that just makes me so sad for her and her family. Oh my God. Like, she deserved so much more than that. I just can't even.
For sure.
Ugh.
Now, before Maxx could do too much damage to Chris, the surveillance team that had been tracking Chris ran in and broke up the fight, and Chris was arrested. After his arrest, Chris initially offered another story to the police at the station. He claimed Lea had made advances toward him and they had consensual sex. But, the police just weren't buying it. When one detective just kind of shut it all down and bluntly asked, "Did you kill Lea Porter?" And Chris broke down and again admitted that he had. I think they were just tired of his bullshit, like, we want the real answer.
Yeah, like, no one's going to believe that crap. No one believes it.
Yeah.
Especially with your history. No one's buying it, buddy.
Exactly. So even with Chris's confession, one super crucial piece of the puzzle was missing.
Yeah, Lee's body.
Lee's body.
So sad.
As
especially because you spoiled it for us earlier that they never find it. So sad.
It's so sad. And as we know, Chris insisted that he had discarded it, and detectives acted on that information. They organized an extensive search at the landfill where the dumpster contents had been taken, and they searched for 45 days. Teams rummaged through garbage for 45 days, combing inch by inch, and they found Lee's clothing, her cell phone, her wallet, and ID wrapped in a pillowcase. But Lea herself was never found. And what that made everyone really think was like, he didn't just throw her in the trash. He had to have done something else, because if all her stuff was there, surely she should be there not far from it. Right?
That kind of brings me back to maybe what the just the detective, but the private detective that they hired, the information they had found about her phone pinging around bodies of water. Again, it could be nothing.
Yeah.
But it does make you wonder, like, maybe that actually did have something to do with this whole case. Like, maybe it had something to do with her whereabouts.
Yeah. So I wonder, now, again, I said I don't know, this is all I could find, so I don't know, 100% where it took them. But you'd think that if it was her phone pinging, that lead would have been followed up with. So
yeah. Also, here, let's just play a little detective ourselves here, because it's fun. Let's say he takes her body, all of her items with him to these bodies of water, dumps her body, has to take all of her belongings back, and then he dumps those in the trash, after he's cleaning up, right? It might make sense that that's how it happens. Discard the body first and then her belongings when he gets home.
For sure. Oh, here's another interesting thought.
Ooh,
what if the cell phone was in the garbage, because it was with everything else, right? Imagine Chris puts it in the dumpster. What if that was the route of the garbage truck and it's an absolute flop? And it was just more coincidentally along a route that maybe was just by water.
And then it just died at that point.
Yeah.
That is a theory. That is a theory, honestly.
Yeah. I looked pretty extensively and couldn't find anything. So if someone out there knows something more about that, please let me know.
Tell us.
Because it's going to kill us inside not really knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're just speculating, but really.
Please reach out.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd be really good detectives. I'm not going to lie. Add our two brains together. We got a master detective.
Yeah. We got one big old brain.
That's right.
Between the two of us. Sad. I'm just kidding.
Sorry. We have to hire both of us because we're virtually useless otherwise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're a package deal.
Becky and Bevy. Anyways, the failure to recover Lee's remains meant that there was no concrete proof of how or even precisely where she died. I think we have a good idea, but it is a little bit of speculation, right? It also meant Lee's family could not hold a funeral for her, and it prolonged their torment. The investigators did acknowledge the difficulty without a body proving beyond doubt first-degree murder would be tough. Still, they pressed forward with the evidence at hand. And In the wake of Chris's confession, authorities formally charged him with first-degree murder for Lea Porter's death, along with other related offenses. So these other offenses kind of take us back to something we mentioned earlier in the podcast, where they had discovered a very disturbing digital trail. Now, more specifically, they found over 20 pornographic videos on Chris's computer, resulting in separate charges of sexual exploitation of a child. Now, those charges were unrelated to the murder, but they added additional penalties. Now, the whole time, prosecutors feared that without a body, securing the first-degree murder conviction at a trial was not guaranteed, and that convincing a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that Lea was dead and had been killed intentionally would be a challenge without more physical evidence. Now, they did not want to risk an acquittal because, well, who would want that, right?
Especially with the circumstantial evidence that they do have, right?
Exactly. So the Adams County District Attorney's Office offered Chris a plea bargain. Under the agreement, Chris would plead guilty to second-degree murder and child exploitation charges. In return, all other charges, including first-degree murder, would be dropped. So in September 2015, Chris quietly accepted the deal, and he was sentenced to 48 years in prison. Now, this was the maximum for second-degree murder under Colorado law, and this was to be served concurrently with 6 years for the child porn conviction. Chris would be eligible for parole after only serving 75% of that term, which means that is only 36 years.
Yeah, I guess the only silver lining would be that there's probably a huge doubt that he would ever be released.
Parole board says denied.
Yeah, I just think they would deny him, especially with like the child porn and like the fact that he was taken out of the army for these fantasies and the fact that he kind of like acted on those fantasies. So it shows just like a pattern of that way of thinking and like that deviance. So I think it'd be really hard for him to do anything to kind of turn that around and make them offer him parole. So,
oh yeah.
But still, it is kind of shitty, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Because what if he is rehabilitated? Yeah,
and gets out.
And does it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this whole decision with the second degree murder charge and him pleading guilty, it completely outraged the Porter family and supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Renee Jackson, Lee's mother, was especially vocal. At the plea hearing, she tearfully objected. I truly believe that she would not like this. With this plea deal, he will probably be up for parole in 20 to 25 years. He will be younger than I am, she said, expressing despair that a killer could be paroled in the not-so-distant future. Lee's stepfather even shouted at the courthouse, I'm hoping he gets out very soon so I can kill him. Now, obviously that's a super raw expression of the family's anger at this outcome.
Totally. But it is like her mom saying that he will be younger than she is now. That really puts it into perspective, right?
Oh, for sure. That means he could probably still have like another 30 years roaming the streets, hurting more people.
Yeah. Or being a free man.
A normal free man. Yeah,
exactly. Which is almost like, I can see how that would outrage them for sure. Because they lost one of the most important people to them ever.
Yeah.
Like that's their child.
True tragedy, right?
That's so sad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't blame. I mean, Craig has even said with Coulson, he's like, if anyone hurts him, like, I don't care. I will kill them. Like, and he's like, or you. And or no, he doesn't say that. He says he'll torture them very, very slowly. So anyone thinking of murdering me, you fuck right off.
Craig's
Lest
really
you want
smart.
To be tortured. And
Craig's really smart. He'll figure it out. He's
Yeah.
strong.
Like, haven't you seen
I can see
that?
he could be diabolical too.
That
if
movie?
he wanted.
Oh, for sure he could. He has it in him. He has the dog in him.
Yeah.
So you've
He'd
seen
be like the
movie-
Terrifier. The Terrifier?
Not that one. The Law-Abiding Citizen.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking
That
about?
is such a Craig move right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Terrifier?
No, I haven't. When you said it, I literally thought you were talking about a wrestler, Becky.
Oh, well, I wasn't.
We can't
But that's
blame
a
me.
great
You're
name.
obsessed with WWE.
Nikki Bella's back, baby. Woo! Anyways, okay, the Terrifier. This is just horrible movie. No, it's actually like, I think it has a cult following. Terrifier 3, I watched with Dad and Jamie like a couple weeks back. Like, Dad's like, oh, that looks great. Let's just throw it on. Not having seen any of the other Terrifiers. I'm fine with gore and like, you know, horror movies, stuff like that. I'm fine with it. I have never been like completely speechless in a movie scene as this movie. You know what? I think I have to warn people what happened. I'll say it in the least descriptive way.
Yeah, don't give spoilers in case people want to watch it.
No, it's more like a warning.
Okay.
If you can't. Anyways, I was shocked. This girl takes a piece of glass and masturbates with it. No, she's like a demon or something, or so it's not like a human, but like the scene, like I said it very like casual. It is not right. Bevy is not right. Like we all just sat there like, again, silence with the whole ball thing. Silence. And we're just like, who made this fucking movie? Like, should they be evaluated? I think so. It was so fucked, Bev. Like, the whole movie was just absolutely fucked. Like, I've never seen gore and horror to that capacity in my life.
Ugh, I can't.
Anyways.
You know, there's one movie that I can't watch.
What?
The Human Centipede. Holy fuck. That movie.
Have you seen it, though?
Becky, I know what happens. I think I've seen bits and pieces. The first 5 minutes when that girl's stuck in that guy's house, I literally was so scared. I was like, holy fuck. Like, I had to turn that shit off. And that was like, because I had seen the other part, like, I know what happens. I know what the Human Centipede is, but I cannot stomach that movie. It scares me so much.
Oh, it's actually, like, it is a scary movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's disgusting for, you know, the Human Centipede.
No, but it's absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, no, I can't
agree.
watch it. I can't watch it.
I watched it, and I think there's a second one, but I didn't go there. I was like,
no, cannot do it.
It is scary, actually. It's not just disgusting, it's scary.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
Anyways, you've had your warnings, everyone, so.
Yeah, watch The Terrifier if you can stomach that, because it's way worse than I made it seem.
And don't watch The Human Centipede, because fuck that shit.
It's scary.
Eat that shit. I'm sorry. I just thought it was a better reference. Anyways, continuing on.
Jesus.
I know. Oh,
Bevy. All right. So Lee's family is so outraged. That's where we left off.
Yeah. And rightfully so.
Yeah. And you can imagine kind of the hard place that the prosecution and the district attorney is put in for this circumstance, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you want to convict this horrible criminal, but the evidence just might not be there to support it to get the conviction you want. And worst case scenario is that you charge this person with first degree murder and they walk.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, that'd
like,
be way worse.
That risk. So in a pretty candid moment, Adams County DA Dave Young said he understood their frustration, but insisted the plea was the best chance for justice. Quoting, he will have received the maximum sentence of 48 years. I know the family is very frustrated, and I truly empathize with this family that has lost their 19-year-old daughter. You know, so it must be such a hard job because you want to give them that satisfaction, but you're like, legally, I couldn't.
Yeah, there's loopholes, man. There's loopholes.
Always.
But at the end of the day, I just pray that he stays in jail longer.
Yeah, like if he's having those fantasies, like you said, he most likely won't be cleared to leave jail. They'll be like, you're a risk to society.
Yeah, totally.
You stay.
Like it's
Sorry,
pathological. Whatever the hell's going on, it's something's going on up there. Like, it's not just like we've said it before, but it's not just like a crime of passion in the moment, like where you lose control of your wherewithal and like reasoning. It's like a deviant way of thinking that has been a pattern from a young age. Yeah, I thought I had something else, but I don't. So
You don't.
Let's hope he just stays in jail. Oh, yeah, I do. The child porn stuff. Not only will his stay in prison be hopefully long, I'm sure it will be met with some inmate to inmate abuse just because of his charges, right?
Yeah, that's always the kind of assumption. And like what we've heard from prisons is that they're like the lowest. Child predators are the lowest of the low.
Yeah, so I'm sure he won't have the best time in prison. Not that anyone would, but I think his would be particularly terrible. So there's that, at least, maybe.
Yeah. Well, on November 6th, 2015, the judge formally imposed Chris Wade's sentence. In a gallery filled with Lee's family and supporters, the judge recounted the basic facts. He had pled guilty to second-degree murder in the death of Lea Porter. And in court, the judge reviewed Chris's version of events, that he had choked Lea during a fight in his apartment and later disposed of her body. Ultimately, however, the judge rejected Chris's account as not credible. So even the judge is saying what we kind of are thinking, like, you might have told a small portion of that story, but you left out some major goddamn details. And we all know, 100%. The judge noted that Lee's remains had not been found and told Chris bluntly that without a body, Lee's family would never have closure. I assume he said that to spark some type of like empathy
action.
In him or
totally.
Action.
Yeah.
But
like tell them where her body is, you bitch.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, Lee's mother, Renee Jackson, spoke directly to Chris and the judge, her voice breaking with grief. Unless we find Lee, she warned, I think it kind of opens it up to having no closure. If we had Lee, we could maybe begin to heal and get some closure, but without Lee and not knowing where she is, that is the most difficult thing to live with. She handed the judge a small symbol of Lee's, a little ring found during the landfill search. This was to underscore the cruelty of not having her daughter's body. She also insisted to the judge, if you take a life, you should get life, pleading that Chris Wade deserved far longer than he got. Now, Chris then addressed the court just once. He spoke softly, saying he was sorry and that he relived the day every night. I was like, when I read that, I was like, yeah, because you're a fucking weirdo. You're probably sitting there and being like, oh, my fantasy is so great.
Ugh.
Like a dickhead. God. Anyways,
I hope he does have remorse, though.
I hope so, too. But that was the first thought that popped into my brain. Be like, you're sick. Fantasy man. Reliving that. Not because you feel bad. But anyways.
Fantasy man. Sorry.
Fantasy man.
That got me.
Anyways, he did admit his sorrow, but offered few details. Like, it didn't bring up any new information or blah, 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 right? So.
Didn't say where the body was. Nope.
Nothing. So, like, how bad do you really feel?
Totally. Not that bad. Fantasy man.
Fantasy man. Lee's family remained unconvinced by his apologies. They thought it was bullshit. As one of Lee's friends later put it on the family's Help Find Lea Porter page, Facebook page. The legal system had given them conviction, but without a body, they felt no true justice. Now, it's been years since that courthouse scene, but Lea Porter's community has not forgotten her. The case fueled hard conversations in Colorado about no-body murder prosecutions, which, as we know, are a hard thing, but over the years have become easier. I don't want to say easier, but like more people are being able to be convicted without a body.
Well, I think it's so easy to just, I don't want to say easy because obviously it's not super easy, but I think it is possible to dispose of a body never to be found again for sure. Mm-hmm. So there's got to be a way, like, to convict someone. You can't just, like, if someone gets really good at disposing bodies, like, what are you left with, right? Like, you could have serial killers that just, like, completely dispose of bodies. And even if you know that they are a serial killer, like, without, like, you have to be able to convict them if you have other proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it's circumstantial.
Absolutely.
Which is actually hard to say, Becky, because I think this is a really huge, like, conflicting thing in the true crime community and just true crime lovers and whatnot, because on one hand, you want people to have a fair shot at proving their innocence, right? If they are wrongfully convicted, especially with circumstantial evidence, because sometimes circumstantial evidence does tell a story that isn't correct.
Totally.
But on the other hand, when you know that someone is guilty and all you have is circumstantial evidence, you really want that to be able to be prosecuted, right? So it is a little bit conflicting, but I definitely feel like in this case, you need to be able to get a guilty verdict.
Yeah, that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I also think that back, like, even like 80s and 90s, when there was like no body, it was like no charge will even be brought to a suspect, because it's like, without a body, we can't prove anything.
Yeah.
But at least now people are more open-minded. So even if you have a jury selection and, you know, who's willing to just look at what evidence you do have and be like, well, it's pretty clear this person did do it, but there's no body, but we can, like, from a moral standpoint, charge that person or find them guilty, right?
Yeah.
So I think people are more open-minded to it if the evidence is there, which I think is, you know, such a great thing, because, I mean, like you said, there are many ways, even through history, that people have disposed of bodies and they're never found ever again.
True.
You know, so.
Absolutely.
Now, Lee's family has maintained that they will not rest until they find out what really happened to her body. As of 2025, it remains true Lee's body has never been found, and her whereabouts are still completely unknown. Her mother, Renee, has not given up hope. She continues to search the wilds of Colorado with volunteers and even search dogs, refusing to let Lea become just another unsolved case. She's quoted saying, "I just can't accept the fact that I don't know where my daughter is." Lee's brother, Maxx, also has moved on with his life and speaks about Lee's memory publicly, but he too carries the wound. Christopher Wade is serving his sentence at Sterling Correctional Facility. He'll be behind bars at least another 30 years before ever hearing about parole. In Lee's hometown, people light candles each June 3rd, the anniversary of her disappearance, and post "Help Find Lea Porter" flyers in coffee shops and parks, determined that she won't be forgotten.
That's amazing.
So
that's just, it's, oh, God, Becky. I swear I've become a ball of mush since having Coulson. I really can't even handle it. But I just get it when it comes to your kids. Like, I literally can't. I was also just listening to the radio, and in Toronto, actually, recently, a little boy and his mom were in their apartment in Toronto. And apparently the little boy had been excited to go to a friend's birthday, his best friend's birthday or something. And so his mom had him in her bed to, like, calm him down, help him sleep. And there was a shooting on the streets outside their apartment complex. And the little boy, they thought it was like firecrackers, and the little boy, like, sat up in bed, and, like, a bullet came through their window, shot him, and he died. And I truly was like, I had to turn it off, because I was like, OMG, like, anything can happen. Like, even in this situation with Lea, I just sympathize with the parents so much now. Like, anyways, it's just heartbreaking. Like, this one really got me. It's just like everything that could have gone wrong for her went wrong. And it's just really, really sad to see that. Like, she had so much potential for her life. So many people that loved her.
And what I think is, like, really sad, Bev, is that Chris was like, again, I don't know what level of friends they truly were, but he was like, someone she confided in was like helping her through, like get through her sobriety and addiction, you know, like he was there to help.
Yeah.
And she trusted him.
Mm-hmm.
And she was there hours and then she wasn't alive anymore. You know, like it's like he took his first opportunity, you know?
Preyed on someone who was vulnerable as hell.
Yeah. And
Truly.
I think that's so wrong.
So wrong.
And like to this day, still no one knows where her body is. Like I just feel bad that the family will never 100% get that closure. And I'm sad that they want. Yeah, like just, you know, I think if anyone has to plea, be like, in order to accept this plea, you need to tell us where the body is.
That's a good point.
And if we can't find it, you don't get your plea.
That being said, did he sit in front of a jury, Becky?
No.
He didn't,
I guess,
for pleas?
No, it's just, I mean, you kind of have to sit in front of the judge and like your peers, like the people associated with the case, like the family.
Yeah, then I agree with you 100%. Why don't they make that? Like, I guess they don't want to do that because then he could be like, all right, I'll just go for first degree and hope I get acquitted then. Like,
yeah,
at that point.
I had that thought as well. I was like, damn, I eat my words. But
you just wish there was something that you could do to make it so they had to like come up with that. Yeah, even like 5 years off that I would accept, but it's like you'll get that 5 years if we're able to find the body. If not, you get the max sentence no matter what. Sorry. Because you know some pleas are like actually reduced sentences in those cases, but I would never as a prosecutor be like, no, max sentence for this charge. Yeah.
Unless you tell me where the body is.
And you don't just have to tell us, we have to find it.
Yeah. Like I'm not taking your lying ass word for it.
Right. I know. I wish there was something they could do because I just think so many families of missing people, like I've never had someone in my life go missing like that, but we've heard it so many times where that's just like the hardest thing is not knowing where their loved one is, right?
For sure.
And it just consumes them. Obviously, like with Lee, her mom is still searching. So, yeah I wish there was something someone could do. For sure.
Yeah. Well, Bev, this is the case of Lea Porter. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing. And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.